Alright guys, so today I want to look at a Proliferating Allergen build for Yujin. Now Yujin is not really in the meta and he's not a descendant that a lot of people are picking. So if you are looking for a different build, maybe something off meta, go ahead and give this build a try. But having said all that, let's hop into the video. Alright guys, so for the primary weapon here, we are going to go ahead and use Malevolent. Now I do like this weapon in this build for two different reasons. The first reason is it just does a lot of damage by itself. This is a very solid weapon and something that was nice to get in the season pass. And the second reason I like this is because the shots actually bounce around. Unlike Freyna's Poison, Yujin's Proliferating Allergy is not as forgiving. It is very possible to miss the target you're throwing at, or hit a target behind it. And while you can wait for the Proliferating Allergy to expire and then explode and kill everything, it is much more effective to kill the enemy that is currently infected. And if that enemy is behind a bunch of other enemies, that can be really hard to do. So Malevolent really helps out by being able to hit a bunch of targets all at once. So for the build on this, I am going to show you the build that we use, and this build was designed for Void Erosion 30. So when it comes to the cores on this, we are looking at 2 chill attack cores, 1 firearm attack core, and 2 fire rate cores. So when it comes to the roll on this, there's only 2 things on here that we really want to have. That is going to be firearm attack and chill attack. Now, if you are using this in something like Void Erosion 30, you will want to go ahead and put Legion of Darkness on here as well, as it's just going to give you bonus attack in that game mode. The weak point attack is purely optional. You're not going to really be building into weak point, but it doesn't hurt to have additional damage, and it is one of the better things to put on here if you're looking for something to really round out your rolls. When it comes to the mods on this is what we're looking at. We are going to really ratchet up the base damage by putting on Rifling Reinforcement, Action Reaction, and Charge Amplification. Now to make this a little bit more user friendly, we are going to go ahead and put 2 mag mods on this and a fire rate mod. Outside of that, we do stack on some chill damage, again because we do use this in Void Erosion 30. For his second weapon, we are going to go ahead and use the Last Dagger. This is a gun that you can basically put on anyone. This gun is great at chunking out damage in a very short window, and until we get a weapon buff to bring all the weapons up, this is going to be your main DPS weapon when it comes to bossing on most Descendants. So for the cores on this, we're going to go ahead and look at something very generic. We're going to go with some firearm critical hit damage, 2 firearm attack, 1 fire rate, and for now we are going to go ahead and use some rounds per mag. So when it comes to the roll on this, what I would suggest you go with is something like firearm attack, weak point damage, firearm critical hit damage, and then just go ahead and round it out with bonus firearm attack versus Colossus. The main reason we're doing that is that's just going to make this a very universal weapon, and a weapon that you can use in normal bossing as well as Colossus fights. When it comes to the mods on this, I would go ahead and set it up something like this. This is going to get you a lot of critical hit damage, a little bit of weak point damage, some fire rate, and some base weapon damage. Now we do like to round this out with Firing Fiesta, and then the last mod is going to be an elemental mod. You can go ahead and put whatever element mod you want here. I have Chill Enhancement here because I do use this a lot in Purge, but at the end of the day you can put whatever element is helping you with the content that you're struggling with. So for your reactor, we're going to be looking at something like this. So what we're going to be looking at here is a non-attribute singular reactor. For the optimized condition, we really are going to want hand cannon because we are going to be running around with the Peacemaker in our hand most of the time. So down bottom for the roll, if you're really trying to ratchet up that damage, you're going to want to go with non-attribute skill power boost ratio, and you're going to want to go with singular skill boost power ratio. Basically the same thing that it shows in the middle of the reactor. This is going to help really balance out your damage buckets and help ratchet that damage up even more. If you do this, your range will be a little bit lower than your max range, but we are going to make that up some with the inversion reinforcements. On top of that, your skill cooldown will be a little bit higher, but we're also going to offset that with Veterans Tactics. So at the end of the day, you're not going to be missing too much out of the utility, but you are going to ratchet your damage up, and that is really what we're trying for. So when it comes to the component set, we are going to be looking at using the Enlightened Mage set here. For the rolls, I would go ahead and try to get what we're showing on the screen. Why we really like this set is it is giving us some skill power, and it's going to ratchet up our non-attribute skill damage. Now, if I would have made this video a few weeks ago, I would not have been recommending this set, but it has recently received a buff, and that buff has made this very, very viable, especially if you're able to spam your skills on a non-attribute Descendant. Don't worry, we will help offset all of this additional non-attribute damage in your skill buckets with the mods that we put on this character. So when it comes to the inversion reinforcement, we are going to switch it up a little bit here. Now we will be using evolutionary cutting mechanism. And the main reason for that is because this build does revolve around pairing up Malevolent with Yujin. Using evolutionary cutting mechanism just makes Malevolent that much more deadly. And between the AoE of Malevolent and Yujin's own AoE with Proliferating Allergy, we will be able to clear rooms very, very fast. Outside of that, we are going to go ahead and use Biodensity Augmentation for a little bit more survivability, and Arche Circulation Tactic just to get those cooldowns down just a little bit more. So when it comes to the Arche tuning tree, this is what we're going to be looking at. This is a very simple skill descendant tree. We're going to focus on as much skill power as we can get on this tree. Outside of that, we are going to give ourselves a little bit of additional cooldown, and then we're just going to grab some MP recovery and finish this off with a nice little HP boost. All in all, this is probably going to set your Yujin up for the most success given the nodes that we currently have on the trees. Now, when it comes to the dog here, I am going to go ahead and recommend that you use Vesper's Hunting Dog. Malevolent does use green ammo, and while there's a really good chance you are not going to have ammo issues on the build, having this dog will just make sure that you don't have any issues. Vesper Hunting Dog does give you ammo back over time, and this will help to keep your ammo count up. While you're playing solo, it's probably not going to be that much of an issue, but when you are playing with teams and the enemies do get more spread out and you're not pathing through their corpses, there might be a chance that you are not able to pick up all the ammo you need, and this dog will just help offset that a little bit. For the mods for Yujin, I'm going to show you two different sets of mods. One is going to be the one that you could use when you're playing with a team, and the other one is something that I would suggest a little bit more for solo play. So for the team play, we are going to look at using Passionate Sponsor. So the good thing about Passionate Sponsor here is when you finally do stack it out, you're going to get a plus 75 to your skill power, which is an absolute huge increase. So to help increase our skill damage, we are going to go ahead and use 4 skill damage mods. We're going to use Power Increase, Non-Attribute Amp, and then 2 singular mods. This is going to help split our damage up across several buckets. In doing that, we're going to be able to get the most out of this build when it comes to damage. Outside of that, we do have a lot of skill cooldown on here, and some range, as well as some increased HP. Now, the medical support is entirely optional. If you don't feel like you need to help heal your team, you can remove that for Veterans Tactics. Veterans Tactics will help you be able to spam your Proliferating Allergy. So if you don't find that your team needs a lot of healing, you can go ahead and make that change, and it's just going to make it easier for you to keep that damage up. Now for the solo build, we are going to go ahead and swap out Passionate Sponsor for Decimator. This is going to allow us to get a big damage increase by still increasing our skill power, but as we don't have any teammates with us, we can't really buff anybody else. So doing this still keeps our damage up, and we don't really sacrifice a whole lot. And on this build, we will not be healing other people, so we're just going to go ahead and slot in Veterans Tactics and not even worry about it. So now we're going to talk about how to play this build. This build is marrying the Malevolent with Yujin's Proliferating Allergy. Now, Proliferating Allergy is one of those things that you can throw and forget. However, it takes a little bit of time for it to pop on its own, and it's going to be much better for you if you go ahead and kill whoever you've infected. As we talked about just a little bit earlier in the guide, using Malevolent is going to help just in case the enemies start to get mixed up and you don't have a clear shot at the enemy that you infected. So when you're playing solo, the main thing you're going to do is you're going to run into a group and you're going to go ahead and throw out your Proliferating Allergy. After that, you're just going to go ahead and start firing with Malevolent. Your goal is to kill whoever you've got infected. Once you do that, the AoE is going to pop off, and it's generally going to kill everything that is within the range of the allergy's popping radius. After that, it's going to infect other people, and so on. And then you're just going to repeat this every time you find a pack of enemies. Go ahead and throw your allergy and then start shooting. The goal here is to keep throwing your allergy on cooldown. You want to just infect as many packs as you can, and you want to kill whoever's infected as fast as possible. If you do this properly, you will be able to speed through most rooms. The only downside is, unlike Freyna's poison, which stays on the ground, you will have to continue to go back to the zones and reinfect enemies if everything dies. As you could see in the background of me playing Yujin, this isn't quite as fast as Freyna, but it does seem to be just as lethal. Now where this will change up when you play with a group is you're going to try to keep buffing. Use your 1 and use your 3 as often as possible, because the goal here is to stack up your Passionate Sponsor stacks. Those stacks will make your allergy hit even harder. The last thing we need to talk about is when you come to the boss. When it comes to the final boss, go ahead and just pull out your last dagger and use that to put in work. Make sure you're hitting your weak spot shots, and you should be able to drop these bosses pretty quick. If the boss spawns ads or anything like that that you need to kill, go ahead and infect them, and then kill the one that's infected, and it will generally kill everything that is connected and let you get right back in there to damaging the bosses. Alright guys, and that's it. That's everything you need to know about this Yujin Proliferating Allergen build. We really tried to maximize the damage that we get out of this by normalizing our damage buckets as much as possible. I do know that Yujin isn't currently meta, but with his most recent buffs, he does do a lot of damage. While Proliferating Allergen isn't as user-friendly as, say, something like Reyna's Poison Puddles, it does still do an insane amount of damage. And he is somebody that is fun to play with if you're looking for somebody a little bit off meta. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this build and what you think of the mod setups. Does Yujin look like he's somebody that's going to be fun to play, or are you going to go ahead and leave him shelved until next season in hopes of him maybe getting a full rework? I know support descendants aren't huge in the sandbox, but the First Descendant team has talked about making some changes to them, so he might get an actual rework in season 3. We do not know. But if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We do a lot of First Descendant content as well as other games. And if you want to get to know the community and me a little bit better, consider coming over and checking out the live channel on Twitch. We do stream 5 days a week, and we would love to have you over there. But having said all of that, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.